Serena, Serena, Serena. Man, that never gets old. Videos about Serena have been some of the most popular ones I've ever produced, and there's no wonder why. She's clearly the most loved companion of all time, whether you agree with that or not. Time and time again, people search for any glimpses of her returning to the anime, and besides Ash, she's probably the most liked character in the franchise, besides Harrison of course. In all this time, however, I haven't really deep dived into her return in Pokémon Journeys, and really analyzed if it was a good return or not. Pokémon Journeys blessed us with many character returns, some having single episodes, and others being part of multiple, but regardless, they did a fantastic job of highlighting the old and the new. Unless you're a Galarian gym leader or Typhlosion, then you might have appeared in your own anime. But in today's video, I want to take a look specifically at Pokémon Journeys episode 105, Eevee and Sylveon Encounters and Reunions, and see what Serena brought to the table, or in this case, the stage, on her one and only return outside the X, Y, and Z series. But let's rewind a bit just before her reveal in Pokémon Journeys and... what the hell? It's been 3 years already? Well, Pokémon dropped their 4th Pokémon Journeys intro as well as some upcoming episode sketches. In one of the sketches that they showed, we can see Chloe and Eevee in what looks like a performance outfit. And as noted by some of the reply tweets, the fans were very eager to point out how the ribbon on Eevee's head is the same as that on Serena's Eevee, which could very well signal a return to Serena. Mind you, at this point we had absolutely no confirmation of her coming back. As someone who was and still is very active in the community, during this time character returns were no secret and we would often know several weeks before the return. But with Serena, it was radio silence, so all we could do was speculate. And then in the 4th opening, we see Chloe with the same outfit in what looks like a performance, and then Eevee jumps out with all of its evolutions, and even in a video I made as soon as the intro dropped, I correctly predicted that she would be doing some sort of performance and that Serena would be the Sylveon trainer. The outfit that Chloe was wearing was the same one that belonged to May, and since she's from Hoenn, which is where Serena was last seen going at the end of the XY series, it only made sense. That's enough yapping about the lead up to the event, but when episode 105 finally dropped, I remember Twitter going absolutely apeshit with the news. They literally shadow dropped Serena in Pokemon. In fact, it was originally supposed to be airing as episode 106, but they jumped the gun and made it into episode 105 to make the leaking even less likely to occur, which is honestly probably a really good choice by the anipoke team. Let's take a look at episode 105 itself. The episode starts with a callback to Kelly, who was the Vaporeon trainer that Chloe met and the first Eevee trainer that she and Eevee interacted with. He found out that word on the street is that there's going to be a Sylveon trainer going to Lilycove City, where he's from, and that's enough for Chloe to go and check it out since Sylveon is the only evolution left for her to meet. It's actually kind of poetic that her first and final encounter with an evolution will be in Lilycove City. I don't know, insert some super witty comment about how it's like a port city and ports are a place that lead to infinite destinations or something. After arriving in Lilycove, Chloe goes to the local contest hall where she runs into Licia, who is just scouting for someone to join the upcoming contest spectacular, whatever that is, and she notices Chloe and therefore invites her to participate. In the meantime, Ash and Go are goofing off, and Go tries and fails to catch an Altaria, but this isn't actually a random capture encounter as we'll see later. On TV, Chloe receives a contest pass and a Pokéblock case, so she's now ready to perform on the big stage. Immediately after, Chloe's Eevee senses something and heads towards the Lilycove lighthouse. Despite being the weirdest looking structure ever, I often found myself as a kid heading in this direction and just going there cause it looked important. I remember just staring at the sea and hearing the beautiful Lilycove soundtrack in the background. We hear a familiar voice calling for Sylveon to use Fairy Wind, and then Serena turns around and makes eye contact with Chloe. Serena looks much different than when we last saw her. Well, as different as an anime character that's supposed to be the same age but meant to have shown maturing is supposed to look. Serena recognizes Chloe as a trainer that Licia scouted, and the two of them become instant besties. Chloe tells Serena that she must be the Sylveon trainer that everyone was talking about, and we can instantly see how humble Serena is as she shrugs it off and tells Chloe that she wants to work with Licia to make a fantastic performance. Serena then again ushers how mature she is by saying that Chloe's decision to have Eevee decide its evolution is something unique and something that she never heard of anyone doing, but it sounded really cool. Serena acts as a big sister to Chloe, telling her that Chloe reminds her of herself when she first started on her journeys. Her Pokémon journey. The journey starts today! And then their conversation gets interrupted by a call from Go, who tells Chloe that he and Ash are heading down to the contest hall to see her performance, which I'm sure is gonna happen. Then when she doubts herself, Chloe asks Serena for advice, which Serena tells her that it's never a waste of time to give things a try, because at the end of the day you'll learn something from it. And honestly, that's very solid advice. The Pokemon Company knew exactly what they were doing because we then cut to Ash and Go racing towards the contest hall, but they get interrupted by Wallace, who recognizes Ash. At least the interaction between Ash and Wallace was golden, and here we get references to not only May and Dawn in the Wallace Cup, which was one of my favorite mini arcs ever, but we also get a Steven Stone reference. Then at the dressing room, Serena hands Chloe an outfit that was once worn by the princess of the Hoenn region. Who could that be? We then cut back and forth between Ash battling Wallace and Chloe giving her performance, which by the way was fantastic and kind of summed up her arc of meeting the evolutions rather well. Her father was even crying, being moved by his daughter's performance. Then the highlight of the episode was of course the masterclass performances of Serena and Licia, with Serena using the Pokemon she used throughout the Kalos region. The only difference is that her Braixen has finally evolved into Delphox. She uses the three of them together seamlessly and makes an amazing performance that grants her a roaring ovation. Licia then follows up with her Mega Altaria, something that's less impressive because we just saw one in the previous episode. If I had a nickel for every time we saw a Mega Altaria in Pokemon Journeys, I'd have an overused Phineas and Ferb meme, but seriously, they did it in back-to-back episodes. We then conclude Ash's battle with Wallace as he defeats his Milotic with Pikachu and he gives Ash a Rain Badge, the only badge that Ash actually owns two of. Going back to the contest, it ends in an anticlimactic tie between Licia and Serena, but instead of being disappointed, Serena congratulates Licia on a fantastic performance. Back to Ash, he's finally wrapping up the conversation with Wallace as a derpy Altaria flies in the distance, which catches Go's eye and he rushes towards it. I love how their whole interaction was Wallace being hilarious and self-absorbed, Ash being kind and clueless, and Pikachu and Go having none of it. As Chloe is about to return back to Kanto, Serena gives Eevee her Sylveon's ear decoration. You know, she needs something from each of her meetings with an Eevee after all. Serena reveals that Licia asked her to be a contest duo, and she's contemplating doing that, but it looks like she eventually ended up getting another partner instead. As the two girls are bonding and the horn is honking, Chloe boards the ship and in come the friend she was referencing all episodes to Serena. Ash rushes in telling her that he just battled Wallace, and Go says that he finally caught that damn Altaria. Serena instantly recognizes Ash, and we finally get the reunion of Serena with Ash after nearly 6 years. They catch up a bit and Ash tells Chloe that this is a friend from one of his journeys. The journey starts today! Ash tells Serena that he was in the World Coordination Series and he aims to be the best Pokemon trainer, to which Serena says that I guess I have to be the top coordinator now too. They promise each other to do their best and then promise to cheer for one another, which at least Serena ends up her end of the promise. And as Misty drives the ship towards the horizon, was Serena's return good in terms of AmourShipping? Probably not. But for Serena's character, I think they did her good justice if I'm being honest. She was portrayed in a much more mature light, showing all the growth that she has accomplished since her departure from the anime. She was once someone that needed guidance and was lost in her journey. The journey starts today! And now she returns as someone helping someone that was once in her shoes. Her starter Pokemon has now fully evolved, which is another way of physically showing her level of growth besides her more mature outfit. The Anipoke team also knew that this was going to be a good return episode and didn't need any additional hyping around since the episode itself was going to do her the justice that it needed. And also probably because she was just going to be a one episode return character and not come back for multiple times outside of still frames. I remember when I first saw this episode, it wasn't my cup of tea, but now on the rewatch, I kinda dig it. But what do you think?
Your clothes are awful! Not like mine at all! Ta-da! Ah! I never say ta-da! Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da! I don't do that ever!